it and assist you if anything happens. But if you were American, they actually acted like nothing could happen to an American. So therefore, there was nothing they could do to help you. And let me tell you, a lot of people sacrificed a lot to get that Trafficking Act passed, because what happened was all these attorney generals were calling me up saying it's not right that we're paying for, foreign nationals when they're, being, pimped and beaten and raped, et cetera, and we've got to take care of them and send them home or rehabilitate them. It's not fair that we can't do that for an American. And the government was insisting on not giving us that recognition. So I remember we had a conference call one day, me and a bunch of attorney generals. We had a big conference call, and we were like, we're going to have to force their hand. And I remember saying, can you actually write the check? And they said, yeah, of course, we've got the bank account. And I'm like, then you can write the check. And they said, yes. And I said, then start doing it. Start paying for services for Americans. What are they going to do? Turn around and then say, we're not going to pay these bills for an American? I said, that will force their hand. And what blew my mind is that, it worked. It did get the Trafficking Act passed, but George W. Bush actually fired 22 U.S. attorneys, and he refused to give a reason. And, all the media wondered, why did he do this? He just literally turned around and fired 22 U.S. attorneys. And I remember looking at the list, and every one of those attorneys were the attorneys that were trying to provide help for Americans that were, needing assistance of some kind. And, we can't say definitely, but it sure seemed to be, what he did it for, because George Bush was definitely not a friend of anybody in the sex industry. His family was involved in sex trafficking that I saw in the 80s over oil deals, and he has done nothing but fight any type of assistance, that we could possibly have, including that Trafficking Act. When we got it passed for a couple of years, we were starting to set up programs. Everything seems to be moving along fine. And then 2002 comes along, and this Polaris starts up. And I found out real quick they're not what they pretend to be. And they were preparing for what happened in 2003, which is basically our government turned around and said that all of this federal money that we had worked from 87 to 2000, 13 years, we'd worked all that time to get money available to help us and to recognize us as like human beings and American citizens and to be treated equally and to get the same assistance as a housewife. They turned all of the control of the money over to the church, who have not been our friend, as you know, most of the time. So, it's turned into this whole zoo. It's just been this complete zoo where all the money is now being basically turned around to whatever the churches decided they want to do, while they're claiming that they're wanting to help. But it's absolutely been a nightmare. But I found out what happened in 96. Clinton passed an immigration policy to now require that 36,000 inmates are required to be in the jails and prisons at any given time. Literally, they have to have a quota of 36,000 inmates. Now, I've talked to the police because the whole point of what I did here with this starting of this group and this program was stop having us arrested, was to stop having us rounded up like cattle and hold off to jail, both us and customers, and to stop this whole mass, incarceration going on. Well, it hasn't. They've changed names. They call it in demand now when they haul off the Johns and impound their cars, and they claim that they're doing trafficking rescues now when they're hauling off the women in the paddy wagons. They've just changed the name. And I'm trying to understand why they've been actively trying to undermine it. And then, I've come to realize it's because they have this quota. And I've talked to the chiefs of police, and they go, what are we supposed to do? We're handed no money for proper investigation of real criminals. We're handed no money at all. We're told that we have to arrest so many people by a certain day or time. And he says the quickest way we know how to do it is a prostitution sting. And I'm like, so that's it? That's why you're still targeting us in this way, is because of this quota. And of course, they want the immigrants. They want as many Mexicans or foreign nationals as they can. Because I'm being told, we just had a protest in September that has not been getting a lot of play in the press, but we just had a national protest because all these, Hispanics, Mexicans, Cubans, I have of let's work together, of providing whatever assistance they might need, and having the system work together with us is not working. They are after us. They're after as many of us to lock us up as possible. So that means that at this point, the only solution that I see for protection of what is happening to us out there is union, which is one of the reasons why I started, tracking down, is there a union? And I started tracking down things and found you guys because, I really, I feel that I need to really throw a lot of my energy and my weight right now into providing as much assistance to the union as possible because of the victimization that I'm seeing right now in the industry. And the fact that the courts and the lawyers, et cetera, it's a massive war against us right now. And the union is the only protection that I see at this point from the kind of victimization that I'm seeing now. And they've gotten smart. These guys now, they've got their lawyers, they've got their corporations behind them. They're getting you guys to sign contracts that you don't even realize what you're signing. And
those contracts are crazy.
I'm running into, I'll provide you with a perfect example, is I had a woman call me for help and tell me she wanted out. She wanted to get out of what was happening. And next day, I had her lawyer calling me up, threatening me with a restraining order if I tried to contact her again. And I'm going, you don't understand. She called me for help. And he goes, you don't understand. She's got a power of attorney. We have control over her. And I'm like, I said, can I see this? And this is for the last couple of years, the contracts that I have handed to me that are definitely not meant. The person obviously didn't think this when they signed the contract. They had no clue. I had another case when there was a series not long ago on television on A&E called 8 Minutes. And it was supposedly, an 8-minute rescuing people from sex trafficking thing that it was not reality. It was purely staged. And I had a woman calling me who had been an actress on this show telling me that they were screwing with her contract. It was not real. It was scripted and that they were screwing her over, et cetera, and they were portraying her full face as a prostitute on the show. And she said they had promised her that her face would be blurred. And she's like, I can't deal with this. She's like, I've got kids. She said, I can't be blasted out to America as a prostitute, And she begged me for help. I said, no problem. I'll take care of it. I can get an injunction against the show from airing you. And that's what got me at odds with Relativity Media over this show.
Well, Jody,
next thing I know,
we have 4 callers that have called in, and I think they want to ask you questions.
Yeah, let me just tell you real quick.
Okay.
All of a sudden, she is appearing to be online, claiming that I'm not helping her, et cetera. She didn't want her help out. She's saying all these crazy-ass things online. I go back to her, and I'm like, why are you saying these things online? She said, that's not me. And I'm like, okay. I come to find out she had signed the contract with these people for her license, for her image, her name, et cetera. So when she done the show, she signed away all these rights to where they were pretending to be her online. Definitely not something she anticipated happening. So, it's things like this that I'm running into that they're not warning people in the industry about that I think is pretty important for unions to be out there to do.
That's very, very true. So we had a few callers. Are you guys there?
Yes.
I'm not sure who was all called, but does anyone have a question for Jody? Or who's there?
If you got questions. Yeah, because this is something that I'm seeing now is so many of these contracts that they're not even advised of what they're doing with their contracts. And they're certainly not giving them any orientation when they're signing them. And I'm the one that's seeing how it's biting their ass in the end.
I know we had one girl just recently commit suicide because they wouldn't let her out of her contract. And she didn't know any better. And so the agent was threatening to take her to court. But what court in their right mind is going to say, I'm sorry, but you're under contract to have sex? You have to have sex when you don't want to?
They're lying.
That's crazy. Lying. Yeah, so these contracts,
yeah.
I would love to see one of those go to court.
Because I've been a paralegal since I quit the business. I have worked with some of the top lawyers in this industry, and I've beat the pants off some lawyers. I know the law. And I've seen the way they bluff these women. It blows my mind. Like these gag orders that I keep hearing about. I've got women right and left telling me, I can't talk to you. I'm under a gag order. And
what's a gag order? Just so people know.
They've been hit with some gag order where they can't talk to the press or they can't talk to somebody about what's going on.
And sex trafficking comes in a couple of different forms. It's not necessarily what you're normally thinking sex trafficking is, where you're kidnapped and taken across seas. This is
the church.
Yeah.
This is my biggest objection with the church. The church has been bombarding us with films like Taken and Eden and, these crazy-ass films about sex trafficking. And, maybe they're valid in other countries. I'll give it that. But as far as, this is my bone to pick, as far as what American sex trafficking looks like, it's not what these movies are pumping out. And there are many different forms of it, absolutely. And some of it is just very subtle. It's extremely subtle in the sense that, nobody's putting a gun to someone's head and, saying, you do this or else. It's not like a lot of the portrayal that you're seeing on television, which is actually one of the reasons why I'm working on a couple of projects right now to get that information out. And it's amazing how much intimidation I've been getting to shut those productions down. The people that are involved in American sex trafficking do not want Americans knowing what it looks like. So I've already set up 2 productions now that have been shut down through these threats, intimidation, etc.
So who do we have online right now? On air. I know there's a 323 number. Who's that?
Right.
Oh, okay. Hello, Flint.
How you doing?
Still there?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I didn't get a chance to catch who your guest is.
Oh, it's Jody Williams.
Hi, Jody.
I don't know if she can. She's calling from my phone. Are you there, Jody?
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I don't know if she can hear.
Oh.
So we may have to hold calls.
Okay.
So we may just have to hold all the
Okay.
calls.
Yeah, just tell me his question.
Or just ask me a question and I'll repeat it.
All right, well, I wanted to ask her, where can I follow her and where can I purchase her movies?
He wants to know where he can find the information about Sex Workers Anonymous.
Oh, it's easy to find at sexworkersanonymous.com is our main website. And I've got information about my background, stuff, the work that I've been involved with at hightechmadam.com. That's, when they busted me in 84, that's the title they gave me, is High Tech Madam. Because literally I had all this security equipment, et cetera, set up in the warehouse, and a computer that was unknown at that time, in the industry.
So we were discussing sex trafficking, and I looked up the definition of sex trafficking in the dictionary. Have you ever done that? And
well, it's interesting to see the term that they've come up with it. Yeah, I'm not sure if I quite agree with it, but I haven't seen the dictionary definition now.
it says it's an illegal business of recruiting, harboring, transportation, obtaining, or providing a person for the purpose of sex. So I looked up the definition of recruiting, and it says suitable people to get them to join a company. And harboring is a place of safety and comfort. So what it sounds like is that offering a place of safety and comfort to join them for the purpose of sex.
Yeah, it used to be, before the Trafficking Act, the only two laws we really had was teaching and pandering. Pandering, of course, was the enticement of someone into the business, trying to